Welcome back, Guardians. In this video, we'll be talking about Eris Morn and her backstory. Even though her backstory begins at a terrible time, she is that person in your fire team that is not recognized for what they've done. They will be there, they will help, they won't die, and they will kill the enemies and do their job. But other than that, they don't really stand out. They're not an amazing warrior, they're not a leader. And if you have someone in your group just like that, just refer to them as an Eris Morn. But her story begins in the Great Disaster. I know, great time to begin. It was a battle fought between thousands of Guardians and Hive to take control of the moon. In relation to today's day and age in Destiny, the Great Disaster wasn't that long ago. But the Vanguard, going back to the story, the Vanguard wanted to order a full-scale assault against the moon and establish a beachhead. Young Lord Shaxx at the time warned the consensus that the Ascendant swords carried by the Hive Knights were unlike any weapon they had ever seen before, and that could slice through all the Guardians like nothing. It would be a suicide mission to go through with that. But the consensus said whatever and just ignored Lord Shaxx, and because they did that, you can only imagine what happened. There's a reason why it's called the Great Disaster. The Guardians who did arrive fell by the hundreds, and if you know in relation to Guardians, 6 Guardians can do an entire raid. Just imagine hundreds, and for them to fall. You could argue that they're all noobs, but let's just leave it that they're pretty good, to not disrespect them. But a good reason why all the hundreds have fallen is because the leader of that army was the God Prince Crota, known to all of them as the Invincible Knight who devoured light. One of the battlefields, the Mare Imbrium, Crota led 1,000 knights against 500 Guardians. And because these Guardians have never dealt with anything like this before, they easily fell. It was said that the sky above turned into green fire. In the aftermath, the Vanguard classified the moon as forbidden and not to be visited unless absolutely necessary. One of the survivors in the battle was Ariana III, who swore revenge against Crota and assembled a team of Guardians to enter the Hellmouth alone. Eris Morn was not the first person to swear revenge. It was mostly Ariana III. And in this little story I'm telling you guys, she is technically the main character of this, even though we're talking about Eris Morn. A little bit about Ariana III. She was a disciple of the Praxic Warlocks. Ariana was one of the Guardians who fought in the engagement against the Hive. And during the battle, Ariana took a Hive wizard prisoner, torturing it with light. She learned the name Crota and saw through the wizard's mind as the creature killed her friend Wei Ning. She sought how to kill Crota from the wizard and telepathically shown images of Crota's realm and the Oversoul, but her ghost informed her that Crota was operating on the Mare Imbrium front, carving his way through the Guardians. Of course, we know about that front already. It was terrible. As Ariana pressed for the means to kill Crota, the wizard mocked her, showing how it had tortured and awoken exactly the same way as Ariana was interrogating it, claiming they were the same before dying. Ariana ordered the wizard's body to be incinerated instantly, and pretty much just moved on after that. After the disaster, Ariana devoted herself to Crota's destruction. She worked together with Eris Morn in order to solve Crota's apparent immortality. Without a ready solution, they sought out knowledge from forbidden Hive Arcana, in the form of Tolan the Shattered. Tolan described the method in which they could defeat their foe. To this end, she asked her fellow Guardians Omar Aga, Sayimoda, and Vel Tarlo to aid her and Eris in the quest to defeat Crota. I'm sure everyone that's played Destiny knows the outcome of that raid. Eris was the only survivor. If you're still a little bit hazy on the 6 Guardians that went down into the Hellmouth, it was Ariana III, Toland the Shattered, Omar Aga, Vel Tarlo, and Sayimoda, and of course Eris herself. But during the raid, the other 5 Guardians unfortunately fell, and during that battle, Eris actually lost her ghost, so she was unable to escape. She was forced to wander the darkness down in the Hellmouth for years. She managed to eventually get out of the Hellmouth and return to the tower alive, but changed. Changed physically and mentally. Her obsession with Crota made her a laughingstock at the tower, but though the Speaker and Commanders of Allah believed her obsession is unhealthy, Ilkora Ray secretly employed her as a member of the Hidden to infiltrate and keep watch of the activities of the darkness. If you don't know what the Hidden are, that's good, you really shouldn't, because they're supposed to be hidden. But what they are is they're pretty much just a secret organization that works under Ilkora Ray to do reconnaissance, to get all the intel on the enemies, get in and out safely, and just be very stealthy. If you see my last video about Osiris, she also works for Osiris. She reports to Osiris about the current status of the tower and what's going on and all that good stuff. If you're wondering why she has 3 eyes, it's because she claims that the Hive took her own. She replaced them with those of the Hive enemy, third eye included. And apparently that wasn't enough though, because as in one of her tasks, she sends you, the Guardian, to obtain the eyes of the Forsaken for some undisclosed purpose we don't know. And as you do know, Crota has been killed. With his death, Eris turned her attention to his master Oryx, or his father, and in that she turned to the Queen of the Reef for help. Together they formed a plan to defeat Oryx. The Awoken would prevent his fleet from entering the inner system, while Eris would help the Guardians enter the Dreadnought and kill Oryx. If you've seen the Taken King's opening cinematic, you'll know that that battle to prevent the Dreadnought from entering the inner solar system was a complete and utter failure. The fleet was decisively defeated by the Dreadnought's primary weapon. In the immediate aftermath, no one was able to be found. Even during the battle, Oryx actually destroyed most of his own fleet, so it wasn't all for loss. And with this act that the Awoken and Eris Morn put forward, the sacrifice bought Earth and the Guardians enough time to react and take the fight to Oryx. So that is why the Dreadnought just sits at the rings, because it's trying to recover. Nobody had been recovered after the battle, but there are signs of the Queen's ship that have not been totally obliterated, and they were recovered by the Taken Champions. Word spread to the Reef, which spread to Petra, and after a search to the Dreadnought, there was still no sign of the Queen, but Petra continues to hope that she survived. Aldrin, who survived the battle as well, also suspected that the Queen survived, as she could still sense her. So I know I said that everyone died in the beginning of that little blip of information, but clearly some people did. And all that brings us to today. Eris Morn continuing on about her life. She seems to be a little bit happier. She somehow manages to take Cade 6's relentless bombardment of insults. I don't know how she does it, but I think she's pretty much done. There's nothing else she could possibly do. She's done a lot. In the beginning, it was mostly Ariana 3. Eris was the one who devoted her life to avenge her fallen teammates, which us, the Guardians of the Tower, helped her. And if it wasn't for Eris Morn and the Queen of the Reef, Marasov, who delayed the Dreadnought's arrival, we wouldn't have been able to defeat Oryx. So, thanks Eris Morn and Marasov. Wherever Marasov may be, hopefully she's alive. But that's been it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys. I have no idea when, because I will be playing Fallout 4. It's the unfortunate truth, but I just want to get it out there. Later, Guardians.